Plus, we've got 3 analysts, but is this Groupon a go? The troubled social site gets the treatment in 3 versus Trish.
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, this is Street Smart with Trish Regan and Adam Johnson.
All right, are you ready to get your Groupon? The daily deal site, it's reporting after the bell. Stay tuned for that. The stock, however, not the best deal, shall we say, for investors. Down more than 60% since its IPO back in November. And transparency issues, that's really been the bottom line here about accounting. Will they still persist? Today on 3 versus Trish, will Groupon eventually prove to be a good deal? Sameet Sinha on the fundamentals, Bill Maloney on the charts, Andrew Keene with the options trade. Starting with you, Sameet, what do you think? Is it eventually going to be a good deal, or would you stay clear?
We stay clear of this one. I mean, there's too many chances. I mean, first thing is management has to give people the comfort that they can grow the business at certain levels of marketing. And the second thing is, you mentioned it, transparency. They have new businesses which are growing. They have to give people more insight into how those are doing, how they will affect the economics of the company. And unfortunately, they pulled back some disclosures as they used to give. And I think the level of opaqueness just continues.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line here as an investor, if you cannot trust the numbers you're looking at, if you don't feel certain you get that transparency or going to get it from a company and its management team, of course, you're going to reconsider what you're doing. Bill Maloney, let's talk about the actual stock here and whether you think from a technical perspective, forget all those concerns about transparency and fundamentals. Can this one really break out?
Well, long term, the charts are clearly still not attractive in the stock. It's been in a downtrend since its November IPO, and it's trading well below its moving averages. Short term, though, it looks a little bit interesting in the fact that it looks like it has stopped going down a little bit. It's been trading sideways for the last few weeks. If it can hold that 635 all-time low, maybe the bottom is in, but overall, the long-term trends are just not positive on the stock.
Not positive on the stock. So I get a couple of bears. Andrew, are you in the same camp? I mean, is there a way that you can play this, at least from an options perspective, short term, that's going to make some money?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bill as well. You know, we were trending down, but we saw a little bit of a bottom here at around the $6 level. It is above its 20-day moving average, so it's actually above one of the moving averages. But I think every rally should be sold. You know, if you look at First Solar actually went up on earnings. If First Solar goes up on earnings, Groupon has a very, very high short interest. It's about 25%. It could get an immediate pop, but I think every rally should be sold. I sold the August 9-10 call spread. I sold the 9s, bought the 10s. I did this for 20 cents. I'm risking $80 per one lot to make $20. So this is a very, very conservative short stock position. You know, I'm only getting shorted if it goes up 20%. If it's flat or down, I make money. If it goes up but less than 20%, I make money as well. Yeah. So this is a short position, but it's not very aggressive.
You know, back to you, Sameet, for a moment. You know, you've said that your biggest concern about this company stems from its lack of transparency. If it were to have a new management team, a team that promised that transparency, would you then feel better about the business itself?
Sure, definitely. I mean, obviously the company has just grown from beyond being just a daily deals company, venturing into different businesses. And so we require that sort of transparency to get comfortable. And a new management team, or even the existing management team, if they promise that sort of transparency, we'd be happy to. Because, I mean, one thing that you have to realize is, the lack of data points from the company leads to us looking at third-party data points, which could be wrong. The operating history is short. As a public company, it has a short history, so we don't know what to rely on. And on the lack of information, we take what's out there, and that can move the stock. Investors don't like that. They wake up one day and the stock's down 10%. Nobody likes that.
What do you think you're going to see today after the bell?
I think management's going to pretty much stay the course. Obviously, they talk about increased transparency. The demand has been there for a while. We don't know whether they're going to give it to us this time around, but I'm sure they're working on it. This management team understands what investors want, and if you want to be a public company, especially a large cap liquid company like this, you need to you just need to give the street what they want, at least a little bit, to meet them halfway.
Well, it's not even meeting them halfway. I mean, transparency, that's sort of a basic basic tenet of investing. Bill Maloney, from a charts perspective, when you look at Groupon and you look at its competitors and its peers, what are the differences that you see, or are these moving in tandem with others?
They're all moving in tandem. The social networking space, the social media space, has just been an absolute disaster, whether it's Facebook or Zynga. So the whole group, very negative sentiment. But like Andrew was saying, the short interest is so high, anything that's not a complete disaster tomorrow, maybe the stock pops.
All righty, guys, thank you so much for all the perspective. A pleasure to see you all back on 3 versus Trish. Now, tomorrow on this segment, we're